everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Fuego here.
We are still here at the Phoenix Film Festival, and specifically the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival for 2018. Guys, we are about to talk about a movie that we did a trailer reaction for, I think maybe just last week.
Blew our minds.
It was so cool looking. The movie looked so good. But there was one concern we had, which we'll get into as we talk about the film for review purposes.
And yes, the title of that film is Revenge, directed by Coralie Fargeet, if I'm pronouncing that one properly.
Fancy.
Yes, exactly. And it's honestly a pretty small cast and kind of a simple, living up to the name of its title, revenge kind of story about a girl who is with kind of a boyfriend of sorts, as they hint at a little bit. Maybe he's not being completely honest with her about it, but he's rich. He helicopters her into this remote mansion of sorts, and suddenly two kind of creepy associates show up, and things go kind of bad from there without spoiling too much. And this girl gets taken advantage of, and some really bad stuff goes down.
Now, is this technically a French film, or were there just French actors in it?
That is a good question. I'm not 100%, but based on the name of the director, I would imagine as such.
I think it is a French film that took place largely in the Sonoran Desert, or at least
That's
what
what
looked like the Sonoran Desert.
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar with the French countryside to know if there's any place like this there.
It definitely didn't look like France.
No, it did not. And there was a very American white woman as the lead,
or at least so she sounded. And
right.
So on,
you could have very much been an actress. That does happen. But
I assume she was an actress if she's in the film.
So let's talk about our overall thoughts. Now, this one again, we saw the trailer. We were expecting it to be pretty darn good, and I will say that it was good, it was satisfying, and towards the end of the trailer, there is a sort of blood-soaked portion of the trailer, and the movie did live up to that towards the end.
Right, it did.
Unfortunately for myself, I felt like it was a little slow in the mid-region. It was a little bloated.
Yes, indeed. And that was the one thing that we really wondered was if it was going to be able to sustain with what appeared to be a small cast and a simple concept throughout the entirety of an 80, 90-minute film. And while I really enjoyed the performances especially, and the concept was kind of cool, and it was bloody and all those other things, I can't say I loved it because of the fact that, once again, as you said, some pacing issues in the middle. But the first third of the film and the final act were very satisfying, and I enjoyed those thoroughly. It's a film with a few issues here and there, but as a whole, I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it's very much in the vein of your Last Houses on the Left or your I Spit on Your Graves. Very much, a classic exploitation film
in a lot of ways.
And then it becomes a cat and mouse film. Unfortunately, there's also a good deal of sexual exploitation in this film.
Yeah, a little more than I thought was going to be
there.
there.
In the best sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, literally, there's no reason to have the girl in booty shorts the entire movie.
The whole time, even when she's seeking her revenge. I mean, I guess she didn't really have a way to gain more clothing.
But they could have just left her with something more than that, jean shorts or something like that.
Yeah,
it didn't have to be literally booty shorts.
Yeah, and that was something.
Movie. And I listen, as a man,
I enjoyed I enjoyed what I saw
on one side. But as a critic, I have to complain on the other side.
Yeah, because
we have to play both sides of this fence.
Totally, and we mentioned that right when we walked out. We were like, a little more sexualized than I was expecting, especially in the revenge aspect.
But did I mind?
No,
much,
but
it does have to be pointed out.
And I could see the average woman maybe having a problem with that too, and rightfully so. So this is where our critic caps are on.
Exactly, we have to try and play pros.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I was entertained by the film. I did enjoy it. Yourself?
Yeah. No, as I said, I enjoyed it. Despite the simplicity of the story, which if we're going to jump to story, we've really already said as much as we can say.
Pretty much.
Well,
it's all. Unfortunately,
it's all in the trailer.
Yeah, this leads to what the complaint was. Yeah. Like we had a comment that was concerned. I hope this didn't show the entire movie in the trailer. Unfortunately, it did pretty much show the entire film in the trailer,
which many trailers often are guilty of, and it did show some of the, at least one of the coolest and most just beats in the movie in the trailer, which was still just as satisfying. And seeing just how she's able to, I guess, work through that was fascinating, but that is where the film slowed down because, you were waiting for the cat and mouse game to properly commence, and, that's where it dragged a little bit.
Well, and even during the cat and mouse game, I thought it was still a little bloated. There was still a little bit too much time between things actually happening and a little bit too much of the cat and mouse of it all without there being an actual chase.
I just wish there were more henchmen, honestly.
There should have been a higher body count.
Yeah, I wanted more bloodshed in this movie, despite how horrible that sounds. That's the inner horror fan within me, especially since this chick, she went in bad bitch mode, man, and it was like a switch was just flipped, and that's where, if we're going to go into performances, hers did impress me because you saw the switch flipping just very precisely and going into survival mode in just in a genuinely captivating fashion, despite the dragging that I mentioned. Her performance wowed the hell out of me. You see it in the trailer, so we can say that yes, the boyfriend with the whatever he ended up being, we can't really divulge that. Yeah, he was a sick son bitch, and his performance was adequately menacing as well.
Everyone was sick in this movie for a different reason.
Except
for her.
Yeah, the one guy who's like
the big guy that's just don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, and then the other dude who
pretzel caramels. Yeah, fucking gross.
God, yeah, he was chopping those the whole time.
That up close shot. Yeah, oh my God, it's just so. But again, as a fat guy, I'm like, this is really how they have to portray every fat guy in every movie. It's crazy.
There were some cliches in this film, but I mean, the acting was still strong, despite some of those cliches and some of those beats that we'd seen before in the story aspect of the process. And since it's really a cast of just this trio, or excuse me, this foursome, I should say, quartet, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought all of them were solid for maybe some of the stereotypes that they were supposed to be.
They all
played
their roles well.
Yeah,
they all
did.
played their roles well.
It was very solid acting.
Now, cinematography-wise, I thought it was a gorgeous movie.
Very well shot.
I thought it was very well shot. It was very pretty to look at. Desert viewscapes aplenty. And
desert cliffs and all that
well, but
stuff.
not only that,
nice
but not awkward
shots.
angles.
No,
not awkward angles. And some movies have a lot of awkward angles. This did not suffer from that. So I did enjoy the cinematography in this film.
Yeah, as did I. And, the practical, once we actually got into some gory bits here and there, I mean, drenched in blood, as you see in the trailer.
The peyote scene was aggressive, dude.
Yeah, it was. And also the fall scene that we see in the trailer. And, right. So, I mean, when it was there, especially in the third act, as things really revved back up, it was beauty in its brutality, I guess you could say.
True. Overall, the movie was great. The cinematography was great. The action was good when we got it.
Yeah.
The pacing was left a little bit to be desired, but overall, it was a very successful film.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I'm very glad we saw it. I don't think it quite lived up to my hopes and expectations from the trailer reaction.
Yeah, and the trailer just caught us off guard, which is once again something you and I talk about all the time on this show, the burden of expectation.
Burden of expectation. You mentioned it a couple times in your solo reviews before, as I just finished editing them.
Oh, yes, I know.
But yeah, I thought it was good, but it didn't blow me away.
Yeah.
Like I was hoping it would.
Yep,
so.
Same here.
But still, we're a very worthwhile watch.
Yeah,
definitely give it a try.
I definitely recommend checking it out as well.
Absolutely. So especially if you're a fan of your Last Houses on the Left or your I Spit on Your Graves. It's right up your alley.
Yeah, exactly. So. If you want to see a lady kicking ass and not taking shit from some sick guys, then this is the movie for you.
That's the way to do it. So that's going to do it for our review of Revenge. Let us know in the comments down below if this is one that interests you, if you're going to see it. If the trailer reaction interested you, we had a lot of commenters saying that they were into the trailer reaction, so I'm assuming they want to see this movie, and I'm hoping they're not turned off by this review because it is worth watching.
Yes, it definitely is.
Just the pacing could have been addressed a little bit.
Yeah, just a wee bit. Maybe trimmed even a little more, but it was a fairly short movie.
It was a fairly short movie, but it's still, there's nothing wrong with the 80-minute movie. I always go back to Phone Booth. 80 minutes, lean and mean, maybe even 78 minutes. Lean and mean, but it counted. And
we see horror movies sometimes that are just barely over an hour. They're like 65, 70 minutes,
perfect.
And sometimes that works well.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks very much for watching, you guys. Thank you specifically to Monty Yazzie from the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival, as well as Jason Carney from the Phoenix Film Festival, as well as Patrick from Allied.
Always.
You guys are awesome, and thanks to you, we're able to cover these awesome films on an annual basis. So we greatly appreciate you. Thank you very much. But until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias. I've been Jaime Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.